Hey, what's up and welcome back to another build tutorial where today I'm going to show you how to build your own Five Guys in Minecraft. The perfect place to go and grab some diner style burgers and fries and much more. And before I start this tutorial, I'd really appreciate a little smash on that like button as it does help me out and I'd highly appreciate that. But yeah, let's not waste any more time and let's start building. Here are all the materials that you will need for this build. And the plot of land you will need is 28 by 25 blocks. So first up, I'm going to grab myself some grey concrete to begin with, and if I just go to the front right corner just down here, from this point firstly I'm just going to count across 2 blocks, so 1, 2, and then I'm going to count up 7 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on that 7th block I'm going to place 1 bit of grey concrete like that. And then I'm just going to extend this point up by another 4 blocks, so we should have a pillar of 5 there. And then going to the left, I'm going to leave a gap of 4, and then going to place another 5 blocks going up, just like so there. And then next, I'm going to move to the right hand side, I'm going to leave a gap of 4, placing another 5 blocks, gap of 4, placing another 5 blocks, just like that. And next up, I'm then going to grab myself some white concrete. And then just going to the right hand side here again, I'm going to leave a gap of 4 and then I'm going to place 4 white concrete like that. And then just extend that up so it's 5 blocks high in total. You should have a nice kind of like thicker pillar just there. And then I'm going to do the same thing just at the front here. So I'm going to leave another gap of 4. And I'm going to place firstly 2 bits of white concrete there, followed by another 2 at the front. And then I'm just going to build that up again so it's 5 blocks high in total. Just like that. The next, going back to the grey concrete, from this point I'm going to place 5 blocks going along. Just like that. And then extend this wall up so it's 5 blocks high in total. Just so it's the same height as everything else so far. And the next, moving back to the white concrete, I'm going to place another 4 just like that. And then I'm just going to build this up so it's level with everything else. Just like so. And then going back to the grey concrete, I'm going to leave a gap of 4 and then placing another 5 grey concrete. Just so we've got another pillar there similar to all the other ones that we have built. And then going to the left hand side, I'm going to leave a gap of 4. I'm going to place another pillar of 5. Gap of 4, place another pillar of 5. Gap of 4. But then this time, going back to the white concrete, I'm going to place 4 just like that. And then just extend this up, just so it is 5 blocks high in total. So if you've done everything correctly so far, you shouldn't end up with something that looks like this. Next up, sticking with the white concrete, just going to the back bit of the building here. From this left point at the back, I'm going to place 1 bit of white concrete there. And then I'm just going to extend this going all the way across, just until I meet with the right hand side there. And then I'm just going to build this whole strip up just to create this nice large white wall at the back. Next up, going back to the front here, just on this pillar here, I'm just going to place another 4 white concrete. And then I'm just going to extend these 2 blocks going all the way across just until 1 block is sticking out just like that. And then I'm just going to follow this around just until I meet with this pillar at the back here, just like so. And I'm just going to do the same thing, but this time on the other side. So again, placing 4 white concrete, just like that. And then extending this side all the way across, just until there's a 1 block overhang, like that. And going around, just extending that along, just until I reach the back. Just here. And then just from this point, I'm just going to extend the back wall up by 1 more block all the way across there. I might as well extend this little bit of the grey wall up as well. Next up, I'm going to grab myself some red concrete. This is going to be for the Five Guys sign here. So with this red concrete, just from this point, I'm going to count across 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3. And on that block, I'm going to place firstly 1 bit of red concrete like that. And then I'm just going to place another 7 blocks next to this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just like that. And I'm just going to thicken that by 1 more going up. So just 1 more row like that. Next up, going back to this white concrete, I'm just going to thicken the outer edge of this top wall here. So, for example, from this point, I'm just going to place 1 bit of white concrete there to begin with, followed by another one, and extend that up so it's just 3 blocks high in total. And then I'm just going to extend this outer edge of the top wall, going all the way around. So just extending that up by 3 blocks. So as you see, I'm only doing this on the outer edge. So I'm just going to do this going all the way around. Just until I meet up with the other white point just on the end there, on the right, as you see. So I'm just going to go all the way around here. So just until we meet with the end of the white point just there. You should end up with something that looks like this. So we've got a nice white wall going around there. And then going back to the grey concrete, I'm just going to extend this wall up by another 3 rows of 5 there. Just like so. And then next I'm going to add a nice little wall pattern at the front here. So for that I am going to be using some red concrete. So if I just start from this point here, I'm going to place 1 bit of red concrete like that. And then I'm just going to place another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks going along like that. And then I'm going to leave a gap, and then I'm going to place another row, just copying what we've done below, just like that. So this row should be 7 blocks long in total. And then I'm just going to repeat this another 2 more times going up. So just remembering to leave a gap in between there. So you should end up with a nice pattern like this. But then you'll notice you've got this hollow area just behind here. So I'm just going to fill in each layer with some red concrete here. So I'm only filling in the bits where there is a line. So that will just neaten that off a little bit more. And the next up, going back to the white concrete, just on the part of the wall where it goes a bit inward, so just this little bit that's a bit lower, I'm just going to place some more white concrete on top of that, so just adding an extra layer. Just like this. So we're just going to heighten that little bit of the wall there. And the next, I'm going to grab some grey concrete. And then just on this point here, I'm just going to place grey on top of all of the white concrete here. Just on that side. And then doing the same on the right side here. Should end up with something that looks like this. And then if I just go to the back right corner just here, I'm going to place another bit of grey concrete, and I'm just going to extend this going all the way along till I reach the left, just like so here. So that'll give us the basic outline for where the roof is going to go. And then finally, just to neaten this top part of the roof off, I'm going to grab myself some grey carpet, and then from this point I'm just going to place grey carpet going all the way along the edge here. So just placing this just until I join with where we started there. So that'll just neaten a bit of the roof off there. So next up, let's get the roof finished here. So for that, I've got some more grey concrete. If I just go to the front left corner just here, I'm going to place 1 bit of grey concrete like so. And then I'm just going to extend that going all the way across to the other side here. And then I'm going to do the same thing but at the back here, so just adding another row of concrete like so. And the next, going to the left side here, I'm going to place 3 grey concrete just like that, and then I'm just going to extend this along all the way to the back. It should end up with a thicker side on the left there. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the right hand side. So placing 3 grey concrete like that, and then just extending this across all the way to the back. And And through this process, you're probably thinking, why am I just not filling all this roof in one go? Well, the reason I'm doing this is just so that we can make room for all the different lights and stuff. But yeah, so as you see, there are 2 thicker sides, just like that. And the next, going to the left, I'm going to leave 2 blocks. Then I'm going to place 3 grey concrete. I'm going to leave 2, then place another 3, just like so. And then I'm just going to extend each of these points all the way across to the right hand side here. So that'll give us a nice 3 rows like this. And then just going to the left, just at the top here, I'm just going to place 4 grey concrete like that. And then another 4. I'm just going to continue this all the way down. So as you see, we're like creating a row going down like that. Kind of like a waffle shape. And then I'm just going to repeat this process another 2 times. So leaving a gap, placing 4, and then just extending that down. So as you see, by doing this, we're just making room for all of the lights. So I'll leave you with 12 holes like this. And the next, I'm going to grab myself some black stained glass. I'm just going to fill all of these holes up with all of it here. So that'll leave you with some nice lights like that. And as you see, that'll just make the inside look that little bit brighter here. Next up, I'm going to add some vents on top. So for that, I'm firstly going to grab myself some stone, some rails, and also some stone brick walls. So with the stone, I'm just going to place, just going to the back here, I'm just going to place 4 in between those lights there, and doing that for these other 2 areas, like so. And then with the rails, I'm just going to place 4 on top of each bit of stone, just like so there. So as you see, the rails give it a nice kind of like fan design there. And then with these stone brick walls, firstly from this point, I'm just going to place 5 going along like that on the bottom. And then from this point, I'm going to place 5, but this time on the top, for a nice vent design there. That's basically all of the roof done. Next up, let's get some of these windows and doors filled in. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some white stained glass panes. And I'm also going to grab myself a diorite wall here. So first up, for the main entrance, which is going to be this section here. Firstly, I'm just going to place 1 bit of white stained glass on each side like that. Followed by a diorite wall for some door handles. And then another 3 bits of glass on top of each wall there. That'll give us the main entrance. And then, sticking with this white stained glass pane, I'm just going to fill each of these windows up with all of it. So just filling all of the windows up on both sides here. Just filling them up with all of this glass. So that's the right side done, and then filling the ones on the left as well. So that'll leave you with something that looks like this. So as you see, all of the windows are nicely filled in here. Next up, let's add some of the extra details for the outside here. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some smooth stone. And just where this red border is going all the way around, I'm just going to replace all of that with this smooth stone to begin with. So just going to replace that going all the way around. So you should end up with something that looks like this. And then just going to the left hand side, just over here. With the smooth stone, I'm just going to place from this point another 5 blocks, and then I'm just going to extend this going all the way up till I reach the other side. So that's to leave you with something that looks like this. And then sticking with the stone, I'm also going to fill in this little gap just underneath here. Just neaten that off. And then I'm also going to place from this point another 4 smooth stone like so there. And as you see, we are now left with these nice grass areas, which we're going to add a little bit of extra decoration to. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some oak leaves to begin with. And then just in the middle of each window, I'm just going to place 2 leaves, like so. So just doing that on the right side, and then doing that on the left-hand side as well. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself some bone meal. And then I'm just going to fill in some of these areas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's add another 10th bit just there. So you'll need 10 bone meal for that. But as you see, that will just make those grass areas look that little bit nicer. Next up, I'm going to add a little bit of a front fence here. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some grey concrete. And also some iron bars. So just starting from this point here, I'm just going to count across 1 block. Then I'm going to place some grey concrete there. And then I'm just going to place 4 iron bars going across. And then some grey concrete. And then 1 iron bar, gap of 2, another iron bar, followed by some grey concrete. And then another 4 iron bars, some grey concrete, another 4 iron bars, grey concrete, and then finally another 4 iron bars and some grey concrete on the end there. So that'll give us a nice wall for the front there. Next up, let's add some outdoor seating. So for that, you're going to need some birch stairs, some pistons, and also a redstone block for now. First up, just going from this point here, I'm just going to count across 1, 2 blocks. And then behind that fence or bar, I'm just going to place 1 birch stair like that. And then I'm just going to place another 3 going around like so. That'll give us our first lot of seating there. And then I'm just going to repeat this another 2 times, leaving a gap of 2 in between the seats. So that'll leave you with something that looks like this. And then I'm just going to leave a gap of 6 here and then place another birch stair there. So there should be a gap of 6 there. And then just repeating that design once more. And the next for some tables in the middle. Firstly, I'm just going to dig down 2 blocks. So doing that for each bit where the seats are. And then I'm just going to place firstly 1 redstone block. Just at the bottom like so. And then with a piston, I'm just going to place 1 on top of each block. And that's going to power them up to give us some tables here. Next up, I'm going to add some umbrellas here. So for that, firstly, I am going to grab myself some birch fences. And just on top of each table, I'm going to add 3 fences to begin with here. Just like so. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself a smooth quartz slab. And I'm just going to place 1 on top of each pillar of fences like that. And then next, I'm then going to grab myself some red carpet and also some string. And then just on the top birch fence post there, I'm just going to place 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 string going around like so. So I'm just going to do that for each fence. So just placing string going all the way around, just like so. And then once all that string's placed, I'm just going to place some red carpet on top of all the string. And as you see, that will give us some nice umbrellas here. And as you see, that will just make the outside look a little bit nicer. And then the next thing we're going to do before we tackle the interior is the Five Guys sign. For the Five Guys sign, you're going to need 8 red banners, 25 white dye, and 11 red dye. And I'm also going to need a loom as well. So first up, for the F, let's just add a red banner in here, followed by the white dye. We're going to do 1 line on the left, 1 line at the top, 1 line in the middle, and then finally red going all the way around, and that'll give us our F. The next up for the I, so red banner in there again, do some white dye. We're going to do a line in the middle, line at the top, line at the bottom, and then finally red going all the way around there, just like so. Next up for the V, let's add a line on the left, followed by a diagonal like so, and then going in with the red, adding a border all the way around. And the next for the E, another red banner in there followed by white dye, one line on the left, one line on the top, one line in the middle, one line on the bottom, followed by some red going all the way around. That gives us the E. Next up for the G, red banner in followed by white dye. Gonna add firstly a white stripe on the right, and then going in with the red dye, I'm then gonna add a top red square like so, and then going in with the white dye again, stripe on the bottom, stripe on the left, stripe on the top, and finish it off red border going all the way around it. And then next for the U, white stripe on the left, white stripe on the right, white stripe on the bottom, followed by a red border going all the way around. And the next for the Y, red banner in and the white dye. I'm going to add a diagonal going along like that. Then in with the red dye, I'm going to add a triangle like that. In with the white dye, adding a diagonal like that. And then finish that off, adding a red border for the Y. And then finally for the S, to add some white dye in and another red banner. Just add a diagonal to begin with, followed by top stripe, and then also a bottom stripe, and then in with the red. I'm then going to add this little pattern like so, and then to finish the banner off, adding a border going all the way around. Oh, seems like I've got an extra bit of white dye, but oh well. But as you see, that'll give us all of the letters that we need for the Five Guys sign there. So once we've got all the banners, I'm then just going to place all of these to spell Five Guys, just like so there. So with the Five Guys sign placed, that is all of the exterior pretty much done, which means we can now move on to decorating the interior here. So next up for the interior, so the first thing I want to do is add some lights in here. So for the lights, I'm going to grab myself a chain, a lantern, a mango trapdoor, and also an iron trapdoor. So firstly, with the chain, if I was to go to the left hand side here, just this middle point in between the skylights, just going to place one chain there, and doing the same thing on the other side, like so. And then I'm just going to repeat this for another 2 rows. So just placing the chain in the middle here. And then for this last row of lights, I'm only going to place one just at the back bit, like so. And then moving to the lantern, I'm then just going to place one lantern underneath each point where we have placed the chains here. So just placing them. And then firstly, if I go to the iron trapdoors, just going to the back left light just here, I'm just going to place one iron trapdoor like that. And then just in kind of like a diagonal pattern, I'm just going to keep placing these like so. And then if I move to the mangrove trapdoors, I'm then just going to do the exact same thing, but with the other lanterns here. So actually, that will just create a nice little pattern there, which will complete the main lighting. And the next, sticking with these chains, from this point, I'm going to leave a gap of 3. Then I'm going to place 1, 2 chains going down. Then I'm going to leave a gap of 2 and then place another 2 chains down. And this is going to be where the menu board is going to hang from. So if I just grab myself some black concrete, I'm just going to place 4 underneath these chains like so. And then I'm also going to grab myself some item frames and place 4 just there. And we'll fill them up with some food later on. So next up, onto the floor and doing some of the furniture. So firstly, just wherever there is grass in the building here, I'm just going to dig all of that down. So wherever there's grass, just dig in all of this down by 1 block. Next up, I'm going to grab myself some pistons, and these are going to be for marking out where all the different tables are going to go. So if I just go to the left hand corner, just over here, starting from this point, I'm just going to count across 1, 2 blocks. And on that point, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3 pistons going along like that. Then I'm going to leave a gap of 3. Then I'm going to place another 3 pistons. Then I'm going to leave a gap of 3 and place another 3. And then from this point, I'm just going to go diagonally across 1 block. And then I'm going to place another piston there, followed by 2 on the right. And then I'm going to leave another gap of 3, and then finally placing another 3 pistons like so. So you should end up with loads of pistons like that. And then just from this row of pistons here, just from this point, I'm going to count down 3 blocks. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to count 2 to the left, 1, 2. On that block, place a piston, go back to the middle point, counting across another 1, 2, and then placing another piston just there. And then from this point, I'm going to leave a gap of 4, and then I'm just going to place another piston like so. That'll mark out all of the tables that we will need. And the next up, I'm then going to grab myself some redstone blocks, and just underneath each piston, I am just going to place redstone blocks, just like so. Digging under the pistons and just placing blocks. And that'll just power them all up. So as you see, all the pistons are now powered. Next up, I'm just going to grab some white concrete. And I'm just going to mark out where the kitchen area is going to go. So from this point just over here, I'm just going to count across 1, 2 blocks. On that block, I'm going to place a bit of white concrete like so. And extending that so it's 6 blocks long in total. And then going around, I'm then going to place another 5. Followed by another 5 on the right here. And then finally to finish off, just another 5 like that. So that's just going to mark out the kitchen area, which is going to be this little bit just there. Next up, I'm then going to grab myself some cyan terracotta and some grey concrete. And I'm going to be creating a checkered floor pattern with these. So I'm just going to fill up the main bit of floor area here. I'm going to leave the kitchen because I've still got to add a few extra things. So if I just start from this point here, I'm just going to place 1 bit of cyan terracotta like that. And I'm firstly just going to alternate this. Just covering all of the area that we dug out. So just placing that. As you see, you should end up with a nice pattern that looks like this. And then just where there's any gaps, I'm just going to fill that in with this grey concrete here to complete the checkered floor for the main area. As you see, that will complete the main area for the floor here. Next up, for the kitchen area, firstly, I'm just going to grab myself some armour stands to begin with. And then first, just on this point, I'm just going to place 3 armour stands down like so. And then I'm also going to go to this corner here, count across 2, place another armour stand. And then I'm also going to grab myself a campfire. And I'm just going to leave a gap and then place 2 just here. And then next, to finish off the kitchen floor, I'm just going to do the same pattern that I've done in this main area in the kitchen. So from this point, let's firstly place some grey concrete there, and then let's just create a checkered pattern with that. So filling in any areas that we haven't filled in so far. Like so. And then filling in any other areas with the cyan terracotta here. Which will complete the kitchen floor. So let's finish off all of this seating. So firstly, I'm just going to grab myself some birch stairs. And then firstly, just around these single pistons, I'm just going to place 4 stairs like that. For 4 nice chairs. Just like so there. And then for the larger tables, I'm going to grab myself some red concrete. Some red banners. and also some birch slabs. So for these larger seats, firstly, starting from this point, I'm just going to place 6 red concrete, just like that. And then I'm just going to place another 6 there. And I'm just going to keep evenly distributing these, just in these little gaps that I'm showing you here. But then in the corner over here, I'm actually going to place 9 blocks. And then I'm just going to build that up by 1 more. That's like a little corner bit. And then for the actual seats, I've got some birch slabs here. Just going to place 3 in these gaps here. Fill some of the seating up there. And then finally, to make it look like the seating is cushioned, I've got some banners here, and I'm just going to place 3 banners on the backs of each bit here. Just like so. Which will complete the seating design for the main restaurant area. Next up, I'm going to be showing you how to make the drink and sauce station here. So, firstly for that, I'm going to grab myself some white concrete to begin with. And then firstly, just on the left hand side, I'm going to place 2 white concrete just there. And I'm just going to build that up going all the way to the top. And then leaving a gap of 5, doing the same thing on the other side. Just like so. And then from the top left corner just here, I'm going to place 3 blocks going down. And then I'm just going to extend that going all the way across, connecting those 2 points together like so there. And then next, going back to the red concrete, I'm just going to place 1 bit on the left and then 1 bit on the right. Because these are going to be the bases for the juice machines. And then I'm just going to grab myself a flower pot as to act like a little cup. Place 1 on top of each bit of concrete. And then I'm going to grab myself a polished black stone stair. And I'm just going to place 1 on top of each flower pot like that. And then going back to the red concrete, I'm going to place concrete on top of each stair. And then finally, I'm then going to grab myself an item frame. I'm just going to place 1 item frame in front of each bit of red concrete, followed by a flower pot inside of each item frame there. That'll create the drinks machines. And then I'm also going to grab myself another lantern, which I'm going to put just in the middle there. And then next, I'm then going to grab myself an iron block. I'm just going to place 3 in the middle there. Then I'm going to grab myself some item frames. Oh, I've already got one. I'm going to place 1 in the middle there, followed by 1 on the left, and then 1 on the right. And then firstly, I'm going to get myself some red dye, as that looks a little bit like ketchup. So just put that there. And then for the right hand side, I'm then going to grab myself a little wind charge here, as to me that looks a bit like mayonnaise. So just place that there. And then I'm also going to grab myself some paper and put 1 on the top there for some napkins. And then for the actual drink dispensers, I'm just going to grab myself a lever. I'm just going to place 1 on each side like so. As you see, that will complete the drinks and sauce station. So next up, let's decorate the kitchen area. So for that, firstly, let's grab some more white concrete. And then just go into the left hand side just over here. Firstly, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3 white concrete going along like that. Then I'm going to leave a gap of 1 and place another 2 white concrete. And then I'm just going to place more white concrete following the white line below. Just like this. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself some red carpet here. I'm just going to place 3 there. And then 2. And then extending that across by 5. And then placing 1. Then I'll leave a gap of 2 here. And then placing another 2. Leaving a gap. Placing 2. Leaving a gap. And then placing 1 just on the end there. And in this gap here, I'm just going to add an iron trapdoor with a lever, because that's going to be for the kitchen entrance. And then these other gaps that I've left here, these are going to be for the tills. So if I grab myself some stone brick stairs, I'm going to place 1 in each gap there, followed by a birch sign just on the back of each one. That will give us some nice tills. And then in these gaps here, I'm going to grab myself some item frames, which are going to be little plates with some food on, which I will fill up later. Next up, I'm going to show you how to add some kitchen filters at the top here. So for that, I'm going to need a stone brick stair, a stone stair, some stone bricks, and also some stone. So from this point, I'm just going to count up 1, 2, 3 blocks. On that block, I'm going to place 1 stone brick stair upside down to begin with, followed by some stone on top. Then I'm going to add 1 stone there, followed by a stone stair. Then I'm going to add another stone stair, followed by 2 stone bricks. And then another stone stair underneath, followed by another stone brick stair, 1 stone there, another stone brick, followed by another stone stair there, followed by another stone stair, another bit of stone, another bit of stone on the right, stone brick stair underneath, and then finally just some stone on the end there. And as you see, that will create a nice kind of like textured filter design there. I feel like the stone bricks just gives it a little bit more detail. So for the main kitchen area, I'm firstly going to grab myself a block of iron. And first up, I'm just going to place 2 just on the left hand side there. And then I'm going to grab myself a flower pot, an item frame, and also a bucket of milk, because this is going to be a milkshake machine. So I'm just going to add flower pot there, followed by, also going to need a smooth quartz stair. Smooth quartz stair just there, followed by an item frame in front, and a bucket of milk there, which will give us the drinks machine. And then next to it, I'm going to add a little sink. So for that, I'm going to grab myself a cauldron. Let's just place that down there. And then that will be followed by a water bucket. Let's just fill that with some water. And then for a little tap, let's grab a tripwire hook, just to put just there. Next up, with this block of iron, I'm then going to place another one there. And the next, I'm going to add a little burger grill section. So for that, I'm going to grab 2 furnaces. Just going to place 2 like that. And as you see, the smoke is still going through them. And then for some grill plates, I'm going to add 2 polished black stone pressure plates on top, which will give us a nice little grill design there. Next to that, adding another block of iron. And the next, I'm going to add a little fire design. So for that, firstly, I'm going to put a cauldron on top of that armor stand. I'm just going to get myself a temporary piston, put on top of that, power that, and that will push the piston into the armor stand just like so. And then for a little fire basket, I'm going to grab myself a chainmail helmet, and I'm just going to place that on the armor stand. And then next to that, I'm then going to get myself some polished deep slate, place 1 there. And on top of that, for some chips, I am going to be using some yellow candles. So as you see, if we place 4 down there, they kind of look like a pile of chips there. And then on the end, I'm just going to add another bit of iron. And then next up, for some fridges, I'm going to grab myself some more pistons. And I'm just going to place, firstly, from this point, 3 going up, facing right like that. And then placing another 3 facing left on the other side. That'll create a nice little fridge design like so. Then I'm going to place a block of iron. And then I'm just going to repeat that fridge design once more. Just like so. And then I'm going to place another block of iron. And then I'm also going to grab myself a white shulker box. I'm just going to place 6 like that. That's going to be for some extra kitchen storage. And then I'm just going to add an iron block on the end there. So as you see, the kitchen is already looking more like a kitchen. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself a birch pressure plate. And then I'm just going to place these on top of each bits of iron here that we haven't really got anything on, for a nice little countertop just there. Next up, I'm going to be making the burger station. So for that, firstly, on the right hand side here, just in this corner, I'm going to add an extra iron block with a birch pressure plate on top. And I'm also going to add an iron block on the other side here. So for the burger making station, I'm going to grab myself some more cauldrons. And I'm just going to firstly place these on top of each armor stand like that. And then I'm going to grab myself a piston. Oh, already got one. And a block of redstone. And I'm just going to just place 3 pistons on top of each cauldron like that. Then if I power them, that'll push them down into the armor stands like so there. And the next, for the toppings, I'm going to grab myself a gold helmet, because that's going to look like cheese from the top. I'm also going to grab myself a turtle helmet, because that looks a bit like lettuce. And then I'm also going to grab myself a leather helmet with some red dye, because that's going to look like some tomato sauce. And then to make that helmet red, let's just grab ourselves a crafting table. Obviously, if you're in survival, you can just do it in the little grid, but let's just make that red. So let's get these filled up. So let's add our ketchup. Let's add the cheese. And let's add the lettuce. And on the end here, I'm going to grab myself another item frame, which is going to be filled with some steak for a nice little burger patty there. And let's also add another little patty just on this plate here. So next up, let's get this menu all filled up. So firstly, for a burger, I'm going to grab myself some bread and some steak. Let's just place these in there. And then for the chips, I am going to be using some horn coral fans here, because I think they just look so much like chips. And then if I just grab myself an anvil, I'm going to place that down. And then if I put the coral in there, I'm going to rename that so it's actually called fries. Just like that. And then with these, we can now add fries to the menu. And on the end, I'm going to add a milk bucket for a nice little milkshake. And let's also fill this plate up with some more chips there. So next up, for next decoration, I'm going to add some barrels in the corner here, which are full of potatoes, because you often find like bags of potatoes on display sometimes in Five Guys. So I'm going to try and replicate that. So with that, I'm going to grab myself a barrel. And I'm just going to place one on the side there, followed by 2 going up, followed by another one up, followed by another one. And then I'm going to grab myself some item frames and also some potatoes. And I'm just going to place one item frame on the end there, one there, and one there as well. And I'm just going to fill them up with potatoes like so, for an extra little display there. So the Five Guys is nearly finished. There's only one thing we need to do, and that is add some banners for some extra decoration. So first up, I'm going to show you how to make a red and white checkered banner. So you're going to need 8 of these in total. So I'm going to show you what you're going to need for one of the banners, and then you're just going to have to repeat that another 7 times. So for one banner, you're going to need 3 white dye, 2 red dye, and you're also going to need a red banner as well. So with the loom, let's just place that down and let's add our red banner in. And firstly, if we add the white dye, I'm going to add 1 stripe on the top, 1 stripe on the bottom, followed by 1 thick stripe on the right. And then if we add the red dye in, we can add 1 red corner on the top and another corner on the bottom there, which will give you the checkered banner design. So you just got to do that another 7 times, which should give you 8 banners in total. So once you've got these banners, firstly I'm just going to place 3 on the outside for an extra bit of decoration here. Just like so. And then if we go inside, just from this point here, I'm going to count across 1, 2 blocks. I'm going to place a banner there. And then I'm going to leave a gap of 3, place another banner, leave a gap of 3, and place another banner like so there. And then I'm also going to add another banner on the left and the right as well. Next up, I'm now going to show you how to make a cool French fries banner. So for that, you're going to need 1 white banner, 1 yellow dye, 2 white dye, and 2 red dye. So for that, firstly, let's add the white banner in to begin with. And firstly, I'm just going to add the red dye in. I'm just going to choose this square pattern like that. And the next, I'm then going to add the yellow dye in. I'm going to choose this little stripy pattern. And then I'm going to go back in with the red dye. I'm going to choose this thick stripe just there. And then going in with the white dye, I'm just going to choose these top triangles just there. Give them more of a French fry shape. And then finally, to finish it off, I'm just going to add a white border going all the way around. And that'll give us our lovely French fries banner here. So I'm just going to place that just in the middle, just there on the right hand side. Next up, I'm going to show you how to make a burger banner. So for that, you're going to need an orange banner, some yellow dye, some red dye, some brown dye, some orange dye, and 2 white dye. So let's go back into the loom here and let's add our orange banner in. And first up, I'm going to add the yellow dye in. I'm just going to choose this diamond pattern to begin with. And then next, with the red dye, I'm going to choose this little middle line here. And then with the brown dye, I'm going to choose just the top square just there. And then next, with the orange dye, I'm going to choose just the top stripe just like that. And then with the white dye, I'm going to choose this little pattern here. And to finish off, I'm then going to just border around it, which will give us the burger banner here. So let's just add that into the restaurant. So let's just add it on the left hand side like that. And as you see, that will just give us some nice food banners to liven up the place. So with the food banners made, that is Five Guys all complete. Now here's a little bonus part of the video if you happen to be playing on creative mode and are in Java edition. So to add a little bit of extra detail to Five Guys, I'm going to show you how to add some custom heads. That way we can get ourselves some burgers, chips and some milkshakes if we want. Firstly, the first thing I'm going to do is give myself a command block. So to do that, you're going to do /give @p and then Minecraft :command _block. And that will give you a lovely command block here. So just place that down. As you see, you've got the normal interface there. Next up, I'm going to head over to minecraftheads.com, and this is a great website. You can get loads of custom heads on here. So firstly, I'm going to type in what I want. So I want a burger. And as you see, you've got loads of different heads to choose from here. So I'm going to choose this one, as I think that looks the most appetizing. So if I just click on that, and then make sure you're in the correct version of Minecraft you're on. So I'm on 1.21. And then where it says give code, I'm just going to copy that. And if we just head straight back into Minecraft, I'm just going to paste that code in. I'm going to grab myself a button so we can activate the command block. And that'll give us a lovely burger here. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing for the fries here. So let's paste a new command block down. Let's go back to the custom heads website. And this time I'm going to search fries. And I'm just going to choose this one here. So let's just copy that code again. And if we head back into Minecraft, I can paste that in. And that'll give me a French fry head. And then finally, let's get ourselves a milkshake as well. So let's just type in milkshake here. Just like so. And let's just choose let's choose a chocolate one. So let's just copy that code again. Heading back into Minecraft, let's copy that. Just like so. Let's add another milkshake. So let's just go back. Let's choose a banana one as well. So let's just copy that. And then heading back into Minecraft with a new command block. Activating that. And as you see, we have now got loads of lovely food we can add to Five Guys here. So let's replace some of this menu stuff. So I'm going to add a burger there, some chips there, and then the milkshakes on the end there. Complete the menu. And then here we can get rid of these. And then I'm just going to add a burger and some chips there. And then I'm also going to add some extra food just on these tables. So I might add some fries there, a burger there. Let's add 2 milkshakes there. Let's add some chips and a burger there. So just scattering these heads all over, just like so. But as you see, if you do have access to custom heads, it's just a nice way of adding that little bit of extra detail to the build. So I hope you did enjoy this tutorial, and I hope you are pleased with the final result. And if you did enjoy this tutorial, I have got other fast food restaurant tutorials out there. If you want to build something like a KFC or McDonald's, you can find them on my channel. But yeah, so until next time, thanks for watching, and have a good day.